Holy moly, it's been a while since I've done a live. It's been a while since I've actually done anything, but I've got about 30 minutes before I have to head somewhere else. So I thought I'd come on and give you just a quick update and let everybody know that I'm doing okay, because I know sometimes when people disappear from, the usual social media sites, or if they haven't, if I haven't replied to anything for a while, I don't want people to think that I'm just ignoring all the kind messages and correspondence that I've got and received. And believe me, it's overwhelming, so I really do appreciate all the love and support that I've been given this past week, actually in all my life, but especially, the week, I can't even talk. The past week of events have been just such a whirlwind of emotions and just one thing after another. And I really haven't had either the time or the mental strength to go on and be able to talk, um, without crying. And I feel pretty okay now. I have actually a couple more things that I have to do before I feel like everything is under control, or maybe as best as it can be. Um, Hey, hi Maurice. Oh, Ariel, thanks for stopping by. This is kind of an unexpected live, but I just wanted to come on and just thank everybody and let everybody know that I'm doing okay. I think for anybody, it doesn't matter whether it's the death of, a friend, a family member, a pet. Thank you. Hey, Lee, thanks for stopping by. It doesn't matter, it's just the things that you have to deal with. And especially when you're in a foreign country and you're not really sure of customs or what to do, well, that was me. And because Sinbad and I have lived, gosh, we've lived together in 3 different prefectures, all in Japan. And, you know, I had no idea exactly what happens. I don't even know, to be honest, what happens when a human person dies in the home. Thanks, John, for stopping by. Cheers right back to you. Right now, I'm in Gunma. I'm in a parking lot. I actually wanted to get here at 7:30 before my vet opens, because my vet is first come, first serve. And you write your name on a waiting list, and already it was like 7:45 when I came, and already there were 17 people signed ahead of me. But I'm not going to be like any of those people and just say, hey, can you see me first? Because I'm just doing sort of a greeting thing. Because if I were someone, if hey, thanks, Serge, I'm doing okay, thank you. If I were one of those people with a pet that needed to be seen, and some lady comes in just to talk and put closure on something, I'd be kind of, I'd think, hey, wait your turn, lady. So I am going to wait my turn, even though it might be until, I don't know, noon. I have no idea. 17 ahead of me is a lot, but sometimes people sign in early and then they come back later, or they just want to get their name on the paper so that when they do come to the clinic, they'll be seen immediately. I'll go back about 8:50, and they give you a little buzzer. And it's going to be weird, because usually when I get that buzzer, I'm with Sinbad. And the reason why I'm here is he's had like three primary veterinary clinics. When I first got him in Shizuoka, we went to a really nice vet in Shizuoka, or in Numazu, where we lived, and loved him. He used to always kind of make fun of Sinbad, though. He used to tell me he was chubby and he was getting fat, and he just like laugh at Sinbad, saying, oh, so fat. And I thought, all right, but it's okay, because he came from a place of love. And yeah, Sinbad didn't have any problems when he was a puppy. And then, of course, he got his operation to be neutered by this veterinarian. So it was really sad when we had to leave Numazu and then come out to Gunma. And in Gunma, I had no idea where to go for a clinic. I was referred to one, but I don't know about you guys, but with doctors or any medical care, whether it be, no matter what ailment you or someone in your family has, I always feel like you have to have some sort of connection. And if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel like you can trust that person 100%, or if you just don't have that good um, relationship, then I just don't know whether or not that's the best doctor or veterinarian for you. And so when I went to the first place that I was referred to, I just didn't feel that connection. And then when I went to the place that we went to in Gunma afterwards, loved it. Got a great connection with the vets, got a great connection with the staff, and just felt like I was, like we were given VIP care when we weren't even VIPs. We were just regular, Pom Mom and Pom. And so the thing that the what do you call it? The biggest point was when Sinbad was diagnosed with his blood condition, and the vet pretty much said it very straightforwardly that if Sinbad doesn't, get on medication, or if we don't monitor his health closely, he's probably not going to survive much longer. And when you hear that and your dog's only 6 years old, or, any person that has had a pet and has been told that their pet has an illness, cancer, some sort of challenging health condition, it just raises all the alarms, and you get all the emotions. And of course, I was willing to do anything and everything I could to keep Sinbad healthy. And unfortunately, when it was diagnosed, it was like a week before I had to go on my 6th grade study trip to Australia. I was working at an elementary school here, and I had to be gone for 3 weeks in Perth. And when you're told, a week ahead of time that your dog is basically dying, um, it was really, really a struggle. But the vets assured me that if we keep them there, by the time I get back from Australia, they'll have a chance to monitor everything, get the proper medication, etc., etc. And it worked because, right, he was okay. It meant we went to the vet when I was living here in Gunma. You guys well, maybe you do have an idea if you followed me on Periscope, but I was pretty much going to the veterinarian or the animal hospital every week, sometimes twice a week. And every week, Sinbad got a blood test, and every week we got medicine. And Sinbad was taking maybe 7 pills in the morning and sometimes 10 pills in the evening, and everything had to be monitored. He was fine with eating, he was fine with all his body, natural body movements or all that. So he was really easy to take care of. But blood conditions are kind of scary because unless you're bleeding or unless you see it, you don't really know what's happening, or anything internal, right? If it's something physically and you can see your dog struggling or in pain or whatever, then I think it's a lot harder. But when you don't see any struggles and you don't see anything wrong and your dog is still, perky and roaming around, you don't, you can't believe that he's going through stuff internally, right? So yeah, so basically for almost 3 years of that time, we were visiting the vet as if it was just like a gas station, going all the time. And that's why I think Sinbad developed a good relationship with the veterinarians, the staff. We started using their grooming, the groomers next door. And then whenever I had to go anyplace, I used the pet hotel there because it was connected with the doctor's office and everyone knew him by name. Yeah. Then, too, I think everybody, Sinbad knew all my coworkers. At the time when I got Sinbad, social media wasn't a thing, or I wasn't active on anything. In fact, I don't have as many photos of Sinbad when he was a puppy as I wish I would have taken, but it was just I was not into social media. I think Facebook was around, but even then I was busy living my life with Sinbad and just not thinking about social media stuff. But when I first started using Periscope, then I introduced him, and then I think it was funny. Sinbad was the one that people were more interested in. So I'm like, hey, this is kind of fun. Sinbad even joined this website called United Dogs, and we interacted with a lot of people that had dogs. And it was a great website. I don't know if it's still in existence, but I connected with a few people that I still remain internet friends with. So it's sort of it was great to be able to share Sinbad with everybody because he had such a good temperament when he was around, you know, people or things that he liked. We went on trips together. We did a lot, so that's one thing I'm really grateful for is that, it's we did spend a lot of time together. As you guys know, even well, some of you that know me in person, I'm I'm not a social butterfly. I'm perfectly content doing things by myself. I go to a lot of places by myself. I prefer traveling solo. If I want to do something, I do it. But I usually will, it's much more fun for me to be able to go places with my dog. And um, yeah, so I'm very blessed and grateful for all the things I was able to do. Um, as he started getting older, his blood condition was actually more and more stabilized, and we didn't have to go as often to the vet as we had to before. And it started becoming like a monthly visit, and soon it turned into a three monthly, tri-monthly visit. And pretty impressive, for having to go every week and get tons of medication to having all the medication stabilized and just going 3 months. Hey, thanks, John. I really enjoyed sharing him. It was, um, it's kind of funny. Hey, Raymond, thanks for stopping by. Um, it was kind of funny because I'd bring Sinbad on, and my views just went, and then I come on and it's like, phew. Which is fine, which is totally fine. Sinbad deserved all the credit. And I think, what, one of my colleagues who Sinbad and I had many, many doggy play dates um, with, she said there was just something about Sinbad that was really almost human-like. He was a superstar. um, she said she didn't know, she couldn't pinpoint it, but she said, Kim, he's like such an old man. And I don't know if that was a compliment, but I was like, an old man? And she said, no, he was just he had an interesting face. He was very expressive. Yet, that was it, right? Like, I think his haircut did it. Like I love Pomeranians. I love the fluff. I love the floof, and that's what he was when he was a puppy. But when we moved to Gunma, I thought it might be too hot. That could be, Ariel. That could be. Yeah, cotton. Oh gosh. Lee, he got called a giant Q-tip, um, like a slipper. So, yeah, so he had a lot of funny nicknames. Hey, thank you. Yeah, I think we'll all miss him, but um, it was when I think when it's time, everything goes a lot more smoothly. Yeah, I think even for people, and it sounds almost bizarre or funny, but I really think when it comes to my turn to die, I hope it happens just the same way as Sinbad went, because it was peaceful. It wasn't any sign of struggle. And that was, I think, my biggest fear is, I mean, I think it's for all of us. It's human nature. You don't want to see your loved ones suffering. You don't want to see them in pain. You don't want to think that you are the one controlling their fate, because I know it's, I was kind of dreading. Hey, Eric, thank you so much. Good to see you. I was kind of dreading if I had to make that decision, right? And I never had to. In fact, like my aunt, just a few weeks before, she was talking about senior dogs, and she said how it's really tough when, you have to watch them not be able to move or eat or function normally. She said it's just really hard. And she said that's when you start thinking, is it time? Is it time? But, what had happened last Wednesday, not this week Wednesday, but last Wednesday, he just kind of threw up his food and he wasn't eating. And anybody that knows Sinbad knows he eats. He's like his mom. He eats anything and everything. A little bit picky. Are you really? Happy birthday. As I choke. Happy birthday, Eric. 57. Holy moly. Still a baby in my book. But no, seriously, Eric, have a wonderful birthday. Many blessings in your new birthday year. Yeah, so he he didn't eat, and I thought it was perhaps the dog food, the change of dog food, or maybe he wanted a different one. Maybe the crunchy ones was too difficult for him to eat, so I kind of, switching up his dog food. But then I noticed, when he just wasn't eating, how do I give him his medicine? How do I, he just didn't seem like he wanted to eat, but then yet he did, like, there came a point where he did want his treats, but then as soon as he ate, he just threw everything up. So I took him to the neighborhood vet because I knew I didn't have a chance to come out to Gunma. It was a Wednesday, it was my day off. So I took him to the neighborhood vet where we've went once before when he had an ear thing. And the vet was like, okay, well, you may want to take him out to your vet in Gunma when you have the chance. So I thought in my head, okay, next Wednesday, meaning this past Wednesday, I'll go. He goes, I'll give you some medicine so that, to settle his stomach and blah, blah, blah. And I said, will it mix okay with his current meds? Everything was fine. And so, yeah, so he had some good days, like Thursday and Friday. I thought everything was fine. He was eating. He was still sometimes throwing up, but not so much. And then Saturday night, he just started barking and barking and barking. And this was like 2 a.m. And then he just started throwing up. And then, I thought, oh, okay, it's a holiday. And the next day, kept getting up, kept cleaning him up. And then he threw up once and then kind of, hey, thanks, me Dottie. He just kind of collapsed. Yeah, that was the same, Ray. I had lots of wet dog food, and it was specially prepared like senior dog food. So, yeah, so he started collapsing after he was throwing up, and then that's when I knew, oh, this is a lot more serious. So I thought Sunday morning maybe I should drive out to Guma, and then I thought about it, and I thought, okay, no, he wasn't able to stand up. I said, I don't know if I should take him that far. I'll go to the nearby one. Sunday mornings we usually go to the market, so I told my mom I'm going to get some chicken to boil and do all that. Yeah, it was it was hard. It was like, what do I do? And then we went to the market, came back, and I started boiling the chicken. And I had talked to another friend of mine who had also went through a similar thing, and she suggested like some boiled chicken and rice. And I thought, great, that sounds good. That's what we usually have when we're sick. So I started preparing it, and then I was doing my schoolwork because of all times it's grade time. when grades are happening. And so I was working on my schoolwork, and Sinbad was right next to me, like as if he was sleeping. And it was just the weirdest thing because he lifted his head. So as soon as he lifted his head, I went over there, and then uh, went down next to him, and no sound or no nothing, but like how fishes like just open their mouths, like, and that's what happened, and then that's when he passed. So when I think about it and kind of fairy tale-ize it, like make it in my head, I just feel like that was the moment his soul left, and he wasn't in pain. It was peaceful. Because if he had made noises or if he had made weird movements or anything, I think that's a lot more freakier. Like, it's almost, they say with people, right? If they go quietly and peacefully, you feel like they're at peace and you feel like everything went smoothly. But if people are, or yeah, jerking around, yeah, it was, I'd like to think that. I think if there's, it was just very peaceful. That's the only word I could think of. But then what do you do next? Like, I had no idea, because I've dealt with death a lot, with family members and relatives and even friends, but never right in front of me and never at my home. In all my 63 years of life, I've never, with the exception of things like goldfish and stuff like that, but I've never had anything die right in front of me and not knowing what to do next. It was a wake-up call in some ways, because should anything happen to my mom or me, what do you do next? And so you know the other thing too is you don't believe that your loved one is dead. I just assumed he was still sleeping, but called my mom down. And as soon as I called my mom down, she was crying a lot. And my mom, you know, uh, she and Sinbad didn't have the kind of connection or relationship that I did, but she was crying. And so I said, I don't know. Like, you keep touching and you keep, seeing this, like trying to feel all the signs. It does help a lot. So then I just thought, well, I need to ask somebody. So I'm going to just go to the pet store, or the vet place where we had went, the neighborhood one, and just, ask, what do I do? Like my aunt, like I think in the US, right, you call someone and they come and pick up the dog, unless you're going to bury it or whatever. I don't know. So they referred me, they gave me two references to a pet memorial service, and she said the pet memorial service, call them and they'll deal with you. They'll deal with your grief, they'll deal with what you want done, and blah, 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 blah. Just, so in my head I'm thinking, oh no, do I have enough Japanese to be able to do this? But, I chose the one that was really close to my house, and by close, I mean like really close, like 5 minutes down the hill, right by our city hall, where the same place where my mom had got her vaccine. So everything was really close by, and called them up, very comforting on the phone, and just told me, you're, please enjoy. Well, that's the only way I can translate it. Your last moments with your pet, like awake, and keep their stomach and their head cool and comfortable and cold. You can put ice packs under their stomach, which Sinbad, he always sleeps on those ice pillows, so the ice pillow was already there. In fact, he had the ice pillow there when he passed. And she said, 3:30 is your appointment, or 3:30, bring them in. We'll If you can come in 10 minutes before, so about 3:20 or 3:15. And how many guests will you be bringing to his funeral or his service? It was surreal, so I'm like, well, just me and my mom. She may want to come, so I guess two. And she says, okay, we'll prepare the private room for you, and would you like this and this and this and this? Just a millions of questions. But then I was like, I don't know. That was my answer. I kept saying, I don't know what is usually done. Um, yeah, and she says, well, if you pick this plan, which of course was, the one of the top plans. Yeah, exactly. I agree. She said, "We'll take care of everything for you." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I prefer that. Just take care of everything. And she said, "Okay. We'll see you at 3 on Tuesday." And then I had contacted my coworker, and my coworker so graciously said he'll do my classes. Don't come to school, stay home, spend that time, grieving and healing yourself, blah, blah, blah. So that was a blessing. Sorry, there's a little bug flying in here. And then wrote to my vice principal and principal just to let them know I wasn't coming. And my vice principal just wrote such a nice letter. And I had no idea that he had Pomeranians. So he told me he totally understands, because at his family's home, they have a Pomeranian, and his sister has 3 Pomeranians and 2 cats. And his sister's home is actually a veterinary clinic. So he understood. And I think anybody that has had a pet or has a pet or loves animals, they understand, so yes, I was able to spend that Monday and Tuesday grieving, and then we had the service on Tuesday, which I'll go into, I think, at another time, because I keep looking at my watch so I can get to the back to the vet. But it was so beautiful, like kind of over the top, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but it was like I got married in Las Vegas, divorced, of course, but we did the whole little white chapel thing, and it's kind of campy and a little over the top. That's kind of how I felt this whole pet memorial thing was. It was really over the top, but very, very personal and intimate and beautiful and touching, so that all the love that you feel for your pet goes into this ceremony. It's very private. It's just you and whoever you have. Yeah, disguise. I agree. They leave you, and so it was just me and my mom in this huge room with Sinbad. They make it very comforting. No worries, no worries, Raymond. Um, they make it very comforting, and when you go to the crematorium, you don't like it. It was hard. The Elvis shop. No, mine was a little white chapel. Mine was where Britney Spears went one time. um, but yeah, it was just a beautiful ceremony, and I'll share it with you. Not all of it, of course, because I know some people don't feel that stuff should be public, but just what I took. It was just a lovely service. I felt very much like I was able to put closure. It had a lot of Japanese traditions, which I grew up with. I know for some people, they don't understand the whole ceremony of the burning and the bones, but that's something very Japanese, and I experienced it for the first time, and I was a little bit hesitant at first. My mom passed because no, Lee, it's just I'm just on YouTube, but I'll maybe share it later after I get it all um, properly edited or whatever. Not edited what we're saying, but yeah. So I did the bone thing. I received the ashes at the end, and they're not really ashes. All this time I thought when you received your loved one's ashes, I really thought they were ashes, but they're actually the bones that are just made into a bone powder. And we received it. We got a bouquet of flowers and just a lot of mementos, and all included in this package. It was just such a lovely ceremony, and I feel really at peace with that. But now I have to this is why I'm here today. This is my job today, is I need to put other closures of matters in hand. And that's why I feel okay. I thought I was going to be a lot more of an emotional wreck. Who knows? if you catch me in the next half hour, I may be, or the next hour. But I'm bringing gratitude gifts and a personal letter that I tried to write as best I can in Japanese. Who knows, they may read it. It may sound like a comedy thing, but to his groomers in the pet hotel, and then to the veterinary staff at the animal clinic. They don't know yet that he's passed because it just happened Sunday, and I didn't feel comfortable calling and telling them. I wanted to do it in person. So basically what I'm doing is I'm putting closure by going to the vets and thanking them, because it is because of their care, I feel, that I was able to get so much longer with Sinbad than originally anyone anticipated. 15 and a half years is a long time, I know, for a dog to be able to live and live so happily and comfortably. And, I didn't have to go through, you know, a period of like several months where Sinbad couldn't do anything. He was perky and frisky and loud barking all the way up to the end. And so I feel like, I owe a lot. Thanks. Thanks. I will, now that school is done, sort of, like as soon as all this happened, the timing was also good because I had to get, thank you, John. I had to get grades done, and school and work, it takes your mind off a lot, but I really did. I mean, I got all that done. I finished, thank you. I finished everything. So now I can move forward. I'm going to get this greetings done today and then go to the pet store where I went last Sunday, exactly a week when it happened, because I want that same worker, the one I talked to that saw me as crazy lady with, my head cut off because I didn't know what to do, and I was so emotional and crying, and she had to deal with me, and she's the one that referred me to that ceremonial place. So I want to get her at the pet store. So I'll go tomorrow, and then I feel like I can start working on, other things. School officially ends on Wednesday, well, the first term. So I've got to get 3 more days. Well, actually, no, Monday is a national holiday. So Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I'm out for the summer. It's going to be focusing a lot on rebuilding because I have to clean my house, deciding what things of Sinbad's I'm going to keep, what things we need to give away, what things, like I'm going to hold on for Sinbad's ancestors. We'll see. But okay, I'm going to go get this done. But I just wanted to come on to say thank you and let everybody know that I'm okay dealing with the pet. But Umi no Hi, Ocean Day, Eric. Ocean Day. So, no, I think dealing with the pet, grieving, mourning is different for everybody. It is difficult no matter, what kind of pet it is, what age you are. Like I told my students, I said, when you lose a goldfish, sometimes that's your entire world, and you put it in a box and you bury it. Sometimes you see your mom flush the goldfish down the toilet, and it's traumatic. And your feelings, you do have to let it out, and you do have to come to terms and come to peace with it. And I just wanted to let everybody know I have come to peace. I feel really, really blessed that Sinbad had 15 and a half strong years, and that he left, in such a beautiful ceremony that I think when you see that and you experience that, it keeps you strong. Exactly. That's what I'm planning, Ray. Hey, Peachley, thank you so much. Thanks so much for stopping by. I am going to head to the vet, and I'll be back soon. But I just want to let you know, thank you. It's because of you guys, seriously. I'm blessed in my support systems, my support networks, family, friends, yeah, and people around me, strangers around me. So I'll be back. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. See you soon.